I got in with the third wave. I got in with the third wave of runners, and then Brianna and her sister got in with was it the fourth or the fifth?
Fourth.
With the fourth wave of runners. My goodness, running in the DC half, they had over 8,000 runners.
That was a lot.
There were so many people, and there was the runners, and there was also the supporters.
Yeah.
There were so many people, bruh.
Don't trust the fart. I knew that'd make you laugh. That was our favorite
one of the signs.
Yeah.
That there were so many signs and poster boards and stuff that people had along the race. And it was just so amazing seeing people supporting the runners.
Yeah.
That, their family members, their friends, but also just people, I'm sure, who didn't even have someone in the race. They were just there.
Yeah,
just supporting.
Just for encouragement. There's another one that said, "The rats don't run the city, you do." That one got me too.
There was one that said, "You're running better than the government right now."
Oh, I didn't see that one.
That was good.
I enjoyed the one that said, "Smile, you paid to run."
Bruh, you paid for this.
You paid for this. Yeah, something like that. That was funny. But yeah, it was great. It was so high energy. It was to the point, high energy to the point where we had to be very intentional around staying within the pace that we knew our bodies could handle, because, you're with all these people, you just want to get out and
Bruh, you want to try and run past everybody.
Yeah.
You want to catch up to everybody and their mother.
Yeah.
And you realize, all right, I'm going to catch up with that next person. 3 people later, everybody that you just passed starts running by you because you're gassed.
Yeah.
Now.
But for me, I was so for me and Janae, our priority was staying around 10:40 for our mile markers. So what's cool is they have pacers, which they have an hour 30 pacer, an hour 45, 2 hours, and so on, all the way to 3.5 hours, I think it was. So if you wanted to have a visual pacer to be okay, this is who I need to stick with in order to hit my goal, then you could do that. We ended up starting a bit too far back, so we started with a 2.5 hour pacer, but I realized that I had more in the tank. I felt good, around mile 4 or 5. So we ended up getting in the pack with the 2 hour and 15 minute pace people. And that was the sweet spot. So it's crazy how we spent 3 months training and learning our bodies, learning the pace that our bodies could sustain for, longer periods of time. And that self-awareness definitely served us well, on race day, I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a big difference. That the first time we trained, we ran every training run that we did, we ran together. This time I was go on, sweetheart. You run your race. So I think that also allowed us to be more in tune with our bodies. Although I do think I could have run faster if you trained with me, but it's fine.
But I did train with you.
Well, I mean, actually ran beside.
Oh, if I actually ran with you in the race? Yeah, that wasn't going to happen.
No, I mean in training. If we ran together, especially the longer ones.
Oh, that's right.
That really pushed me to run faster when we did the first marathon or the first half marathon.
I see what you mean. So yeah, oftentimes we would go for the runs together, but I would pull away, and then we would end up basically training individually, but at the same time. So you were saying if we had ran together throughout the entire training, if it was a 10 miler, 11, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you good.
Anyways, what I was going to say before that little pat is that I feel it was really cool working towards a shared goal together, even though we had different time goals of when we wanted to finish the goal of running the half marathon and intentionally carving out time to hit the trails and do the work and eat right. I feel that was a really dope experience to kind of go through that together.
Mm-hmm.
What are 3 things that you're glad that you did like either in training or the day leading into the race and all that?
Number one, I'm glad that I had the running shoes.
The Cliff Blocks?
Yes, the Cliff Blocks. I'm really glad I had those.
I'm glad you read the back of them the day before the race. And
Yeah.
you were supposed to take 3 every 30 minutes and not 3 every hour, because this man like here be making all the things up in his head. Like, oh yeah, even though I told him weeks ago, 3 blocks every 30 minutes. But go on, sorry. It's your show. Mm-hmm. Pass the mic back over to you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I was also glad, I'm glad that I actually trained and raced while listening to podcasts. So when I run, I don't listen to music. I listen to podcasts. Because running for such a long period of time, it's not just like a 30-minute HIIT workout where I want high octane, high tempo music the whole time. If you're running for 2 hours straight, 2.5 hours straight, I would like to listen to something that's a little bit more substantial, something that has a longer duration than just a 3-minute song over and over and over again. I'm listening to what somebody else has to say, and that means I'm less thinking about how tired I am, or I'm less thinking about how much farther we gotta go. Third thing I'm really excited that we did was document the journey. Mm-hmm. The first time we didn't do that.
Yeah.
We didn't take video, or we didn't take a lot of video. Yeah. We did take like before pictures and stuff.
Yeah, we did.
But actually documenting the race day from start to finish, that was pretty cool. And I'm going to be making videos and stuff about that. Look at my personal YouTube, and I can show you the world that was DC Half Marathon. Everything was leading up to it, the day of, everything after. What about you? What were your 3 things?
I'm grateful that I did training with the Nike Run Club app. So they have an app where I think you're supposed, like they have it pre-made for a 14-week training timeline, but we started 11 weeks out. So yeah, it basically has like every week what you're supposed to focus on, the types of races you need, or the types of runs you need to be doing. And it was just like super helpful not to have to think about any of that. Like I just literally went in day 1, 15-minute recovery run, day 2, 30-minute speed run, and follow directions and push myself. So we used that. I used more of like the runs that like the speed runs and the recovery runs. Darian, for the most part, was like, all right, what's the long run for the week?
I just listened to her. I was like, all right, we're going to do a long run on Saturdays and then recovery run during the week. So I just ran 2 times a week. You definitely ran more than I did for training.
Yeah, I had to, like 4 or 5. But yeah, so I'm glad that we used the Nike Run Club app. I'm glad that I found that the Huma gels work best for me when it comes to just like continued energy throughout the race. So probably like a little over a month before race day, I started using Huma gels, and I just loved how easy they were to get down, but also like how much, like if I took it every 30 minutes, like I could sustain so much more energy than if I just was relying on my own body. So I started with the chews as well, but when I took the gels, I was like, I don't have to worry about chewing. I don't have to worry about potentially swallowing something while I'm running. So that was good. So that's the second thing. Third thing is I'm glad that I got my breathing technique down.
Bro, when I tell you, earlier on in training, she was sounding like...
Go ahead, do it. Oh, you are wrong. Okay, man.
Choo-choo. Am I wrong?
Are you done?
Maybe.
Because that is not how I sounded. Okay, granted, it was like... It was very choppy.
How you having lung palpitations?
It was bad. I got the asthma, y'all. My inhaler expired in like 2019, so we've been raw dog in the air. But anywho, I also about a month out was on TikTok, running TikTok, and I was like, how do I control my breathing? And so that's when I learned about like actually breathing in through your nose, out through your mouth. And Darian had told me to do it like quite some time ago, but every time I tried, it was really, really hard. So I remember there was one day we had a 4-mile run and I was like, let me just practice. And those first like 10 minutes were very painfully hard.
There were several times we were running together and I would say, control your breathing.